Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of 5 Facts. I'm Tony Southcott, and today we're here to talk about Child's Play. Child's Play is a 1988 film done by Tom Holland and written by Don Mancini. It spawned a whole series, 5 of them to be exact, and established a new horror icon in Chucky. They're a fantastic and weird little series, but anyway, let's get to the facts. Fact number 1. They had several ways in which Chucky was going to come to life. During the writing of this film, they had a few different ways in which they were going to bring Chucky to life. They settled on the current version after a few different ones, such as they were going to make it so that the doll had latex-style skin that would actually bleed, and that they would have like specialized bandages that the company would sell so that you could cover it up. They were going to have Andy actually make a blood brother type bond with the doll, and that blood was going to make it so that they were connected. Originally, the script called for something a little bit different than the sort of comedic elements that were in here. Chucky was going to be more of the portrayal of Andy's angst, especially at his mom just not being around and him being so lonely and him not having the things that he wanted in life. The idea of making this doll, which was originally called Buddy, kind of ambiguous to if it was actually Andy or the doll doing the murders, was where this script originally was going. Instead of that, we got the Chucky we know and love today. Fact number 2. They went to painstaking lengths to make Ed Gale look right as Chucky. Not all of this was done with puppets. A lot of it was done with 2 particular actors, Ed Gale being the first one. And he did a lot of work as both a stuntman and actor in the 80s and 90s. You've probably seen him in a bunch of different things. There is a problem here though. Gail is about 33% bigger than Chucky is. So in order to make this work, they actually had to make sets that were 33% larger. The sink was set higher, the couch was bigger, even the light switches on the walls were put together in a way that allowed them to make it look like it was proper. So whenever you see one of the actors struggling with the doll and throwing it, whenever that hits the ground, you're actually seeing like him do a perfect roll, get up with a knife, and start running at somebody. That's whenever you see Ed Gale doing his work for this film. The transitions are actually really well done because they filmed Ed Gale doing almost everything that Chucky did, and then they would decide in editing which ones actually looked better, the doll or the actor. Fact number 3. There's a Chucky theme song that was cut from the film. Being that it was the 80s, of course they had to make a theme song for the movie. The one for this one is particularly bad. It's full-on synth pop, done with a white dude doing a lot of rapping about Chucky, probably not having really seen the movie before. Like, I feel like they just fed him a bunch of stuff on what was going to actually happen, and he made a rap song to go with it. It even has a cheerleader section. So it's an absurd song, and we should all be glad that it didn't make it to the final version. You can, however, find it on YouTube if you are curious. Fact number 4. It took several different puppets to actually get this movie done. In order to make Chucky look real, they had to make some very, very specific puppets for different scenes. It also took about 7 puppeteers to make all of these work. Some controlled the face with an animatronic rig that would actually move whenever the actor moved his face. They made ones like Tantrum Chucky, Walking Chucky, and Stationary Chucky, as well as some other ones that would burn a little bit better later. So they did a lot of different things to make this work, especially because they couldn't get actors that were quite the right size for it, at least up close. Fact number 5, popcorn facts. Whenever I can't find one really meaty fact, I like to throw a bunch at you, so here we go. Despite their long-running collaborative effort to bring Chucky to life, voice actor Brad Dourif and special effects wizard Kevin Yeager never met in person until they were both guests at a horror convention in May 2018. So they worked on these movies for 20 years, and they never got to actually meet each other, and I thought that was just fascinating. And, like, really, Chucky is an icon in horror. It's not quite Mike Myers or Pinhead or anything like that, but if you go to a horror con, you will see a bunch of Chucky tattoos. He's out there. And for him to these guys to work so much together and never meet is just crazy to me. Also, you might notice that Chucky loses his right hand in every single one of the trilogy movies. I don't know why they did this. It's kind of like some Star Wars type thing with Jedis and hands, but they do. Next fact, Chucky's full name, Charles Lee Ray, is based on several serial killers and assassins. Charles Manson being the first part, Lee Harvey Oswald, who shot John F. Kennedy, and James Earl Ray, the assassin of Martin Luther King, all come together to make the name Charles Lee Ray. The other small actor I was telling you about for when Chucky was just walking around is actually someone who's notorious for horror. It is actor John Franklin, who was the creepy preacher from Children of the Corn. Rewatching Child's Play had me a little concerned that I had only liked it out of nostalgia. It starts out a bit slow, things feel a bit hacky, the cinematography's not fantastic, and then all of a sudden it just kind of kicks into overdrive. The scene that really kicked it over for me was whenever the detective was driving away and Chucky tries to kill him. Just whenever he's stabbing through the seat and having to dodge and almost gets a knife right into the butt. Various other things, like there was just so much fun in that scene. It's not supposed to be a fun scene, it's not even supposed to be that fun of a movie, but for some reason it works on that level. Sure, he could have stopped the car a bit sooner. I know they had some weird stuff going on with the brake, but where's the tension in that? In the end, these movies are just plain fun, and I don't really care if they're not that scary. It's just about Chucky doing his thing. Chucky's just such a likable bad guy. He seems so non-threatening. Everybody thinks, oh, if he came after me, like, I'd totally mess him up. But it's also that he's got a lot of guile, and he actually knows what he's doing, and he has the element of surprise most of the time, and nobody expects it to be a killer doll. But, yeah, I had a lot of fun with these. I'd love to know what you guys think. Hit up the comments below and tell me if you like Chucky, what you would do in that situation. Just anything about these movies, if you saw them as a kid like I did and got a little bit traumatized. But put those in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/humanechoes, or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, all the other places at Human Echoes. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you with more 5 Facts.